guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi the Leo. My name is Lexi the Leo, and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is a collaboration with a good friend of mine, Chemistry with Ms. Met Tarot, you know her as. I'm really excited for this pick a card, and I feel like this pick a card is very important in my opinion. We've been talking back and forth about this since August, and the purpose of this pick a card in this collaboration is to remind you of your inner light and remind you of the light. I've noticed around about, because you're getting this in October, I'm filming this early, so around August and September time, I noticed there was like a strong message coming through in a lot of my pick a cards for people to be reminded of their own light. I was kind of shown the Harry Potter scene when Ron gets given the Illuminator, where when he's in the darkest of places he can like open it and light can be found. And the message was, even in the darkest of times, remember to turn on the light, or something like that. And I think it's really important when we're doing inner work, we're doing shadow work, and I see my collective go through so many transformational energies. I know the work you do, and it can be pretty deep, and sometimes we forget about our own light, we forget about the light, and we also sometimes forget how to access our own light, or even our own strengths and where they're coming from. So I feel like this pick a card is super important at any given time of the year, not just, you know, Scorpio season, the season we're in now, at the time this video should be going up, at any time of the year, to be reminded of our own light. So on my side of the pick a card, we're going to be taking a look at your own inner light, to remind you of it and show you that strength. And then over on Chemistry with Ms. Met Tarot, she's going to be looking at light in your path, and you know, finding that guiding light there. So really beautiful pick a card topic, and I'm excited to get into it. So let's get straight in without further ado. We have 3 crystals for you guys to choose from. So pile number 1, we have the black tourmaline. Pile number 2, we have the citrine. And pile number 3, we have the rose quartz. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual. I will have the link. I can't speak today. I will have the link to Chemistry with Ms. Met Tarot and her video in the description box as well. So once you've finished your reading over here, you can head over there and watch the other part. So yeah, choose which crystal you are drawn to, and I'll see you guys at your timestamp. Hey Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at your inner light. This reading is going to remind you of your inner light and really tap into that light, and help you find out within yourself if you feel like you may have lost it, or even if you already know your inner light, just reminding you. It's nice to hear it and have that confirmed. So that's what we're doing today. So you guys chose the black tourmaline. I'm going to start with your animal spirit card. So I'm going to pull this first, which is going to be representative of your energy, your higher self, your soul. I just had the most loveliest cool breeze come in, and that was really beautiful. And I feel, because when I'm open to spirit like this, I see everything as a synchronicity, and that wind just gushing through. I just want to say, if you have been feeling very stuck in a rut, I feel like there's a tide turning in the water. When I think of air and the air coming in, then it's like that gush of refreshed kind of like wind, you know what I mean? It always reminds me of like alchemization. So I do feel like you guys are at a process. Do you know what I'm being told? You guys currently are at a turning point, and I keep being told to say pressure makes diamonds, and I'm being told to remind you guys of the phoenix, alchemizing. It thinks that it's in pain, it thinks that it's in doom because it's fire, but it actually alchemizes into something else. And I feel like your path, in a way, for you guys, Pile 1, kind of reminds me of like the path of the alchemist, path of the magician, you know what I mean? I think that you work with energy well, and you're able to alchemize in that way. You may find the fire element for you guys is a really strong element that you work with, because I feel like you worked with fire in past lives, whether you used it for like ceremonies, you know, magic of some sort, if you did divination with fire. I just feel like fire responds to you really, really well. There's something about fire and heat and all of that coming through. So yeah, there's just something about that. And if you can get out in the sun right now, I know in the northern hemisphere, You know, we're in like autumn going into winter, but if you can get out in the sun, even if it's not out and it's behind the clouds, the impact's still there. There's just something about getting the sun on you. I feel like it refreshes you. So pile number 1. Pile number 1's inner light, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1's inner light. Pile number 1's inner light. Oh wow, we have the unicorn for you guys. We have the unicorn. Okay. So the first thing that I want to say, pile number 1, about you guys having the unicorn, I can't speak today. You guys having the unicorn card drawn. First off, I want to say the unicorn is known as a mythical creature. And when we think of any sense of a mythical creature, we think of dragons, we think of unicorns, we think of the fae, fairies, we think of mermaids, we think of all of that. And our 3D mind and our logical mind tells us, well, that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. But a lot of the time, these beings and these energies exist right beyond our naked eye. You know what I mean? Even the spirit world and different energies and different dimensions, they're there. They're around us all the time. Our spirit guides are around us all the time, but we can't see them with our physical eyes. But we have more than our physical eyes, because this card correlates to the Ajna chakra, which is the third eye. And if we look and we see deeper, we are then able to see these realms and see deeper. And the deeper we go into ourselves, the deeper we see the world. I speak about this a lot. The more we do our shadow work, the more we meet ourselves at our core, the more we're going to see the world at its core. And it takes a really brave and courageous person to really go deep within themselves, because there's so many things we can meet on that journey to ourselves. It's kind of like we follow that yellow brick road, and there's so many things that can take us down that yellow brick road. We can, you know, decide that we want to do shadow work. We can decide that we want to let go of some trauma. We decide that we want to go on a self-love journey. We decide we want to spiritually awaken. There's so many reasons why we head down that road. And a lot of people give up on that road, and a lot of people lose their way, because there's so many things that come up. You know, the universe then has us alchemize as we have to get deeper, because to see ourselves deeper, we have to allow our eyes to die for new eyes to birth, so we can see ourselves differently. Allow our fears to dissolve so that we can really look where we feel powerless in the eye and transform it. And your light with you, it's this ability to see beyond and see deeper than the average person. Now, that's not to say you're better than anyone else. We all have different levels of awareness, and we all have different reasons why we're incarnate, and so we develop certain skills. And I feel like I said at the beginning, your pathway, the way you move, you have this path of the alchemist. So I feel like your light comes from your curiosity, your intuition. There's a fire in you that always wants to know more, and it knows that there's more, because you guys have a very strong connection to your Akashic records. Your Akashic records are connected to your soul star chakra, right above your crown chakra. That's where we access past lives. That's where we access our wisdom, you know, celestial information. That's where we access all of that. And a lot of the times our intuition is guiding us down these pathways, and we don't really understand why we're doing it, but it's because our intuition is connected to our Akashic records. So sometimes we can be walking a different way home and we don't understand why. But as per our Akashic records, our soul and our intuition knows that there's a reason we're walking that way. Maybe there was a car crash the other way. We physically, as a human being, don't know why we're doing things, but intuitively we follow that inkling. And you guys have a very strong intuition, and I feel like your intuition guides you through this lifetime, because you have a lot of access to your Akashic records. Your higher chakras for you are very open. Even when you don't know why you're doing something, you know why you're doing something on another level, even if you don't quite understand it yet. When you're deciding to save up money or take a course or, delve into some sort of practice, you might be like, why am I doing this? But you're not guided by logic, and that's why you may find confusion. You're guided by that intuition, that inner knowing. Your soul's connected to it. You know what I mean? And you follow suit. So what you've been met with is, I need to go right down to my root. I need to see life on a deeper level to be able to move in life the way that I need to, find this career path that I want, find this love that I want. I know it's there. But in this current state that I'm in, I might need to do some alchemization, and I might need to do some shadow work. So your soul was like, okay, now it's time to turn the waters, let's go inward. And that's when you start to see yourself deeper. That's when you start to really let go of your ego in some ways, the parts of your ego where you held yourself back. That's when you let go of your fears. That's when you start to really see yourself. And the more you see yourself deeper, the more you see the world around you deeper. A tree is no longer just a pretty thing in a garden. A tree is giving you oxygen. A tree has so many different layers to it now because you see life through all these layers. You see yourself through all these layers. And I feel like for you, your light is connected to your deep intuition of walking with faith and not by sight. Sometimes you're doing shadow work and it's heavy, and I see you guys feeling so much pain, but then there's this message at the back of your brain like, I'm going to be okay. I know I'm doing this for some reason. I know that I'm doing this for some reason. I know that I'm protected. I'm going to be okay. You know what I mean? And I feel like the more you tap into that and the more you do that inner work and the more you access that part of yourself, the more you're able to overwrite anxieties, fears, intrusive thoughts, things telling you that you're not worthy. Because I feel like when darkness tries to make its way in, it comes in the form of trying to take your power away from you. But your power comes from your intuition and your ability to follow that and not listen to the naysayers and not listen to people telling you you're wrong. Because you're following something beyond this physical world. You're following your intuition. You're following that path that isn't seen by the physical eye. And that's where your light comes from. And that's the message that I'm getting here, pal number one. I feel like that's where your light's coming from. You dance in higher realms all the time. And sometimes when you're more in the physical realm and you're transforming a lot of this darker energy, you may feel a little bit more confused, a little bit stuck in a rut, a little bit hopeless, because then you're seeing life in a 3D way. But this access to your third eye and this access to your Akashic record is always open to you. And the more you trust spirit and you tap into that and you allow yourself to flow, that's where your inner light is. Because you're somebody that dances between realms. I'm literally being shown the Fae dancing between realms. I see you dancing between realms and following that light that can't be seen by the naked eye. And I feel like that's where your light then comes in from. That optimism. You know what I mean? That higher perspective, those higher realms, that's where your light is. Because I feel like you reside in much higher frequencies anyway. That's where your light is. So when you tap into your inner child and you tap into the wonders of life and you tap into art, creativity, music, anything that takes you out of this physical world in a sense of not disconnecting from the physical world, but knowing that there's more. Knowing that there's more than what we're currently seeing. And trusting that where you want to go, you're going to get there, even if it looks impossible right now. That's where your inner light comes in. That's where your higher self comes in. And I want to pull more cards in regards to that, but that's something that's coming through straight away. I feel like you have such a beautiful intuition and connection from spirit. You dance between the higher realms, and that's your power. So let's pull some tarot cards now, as I've spoken for 10 minutes and I haven't pulled tarot. So pile number, oh God, hang on. Pile number one, please, spirit guides. Pile number one. Pile number one's inner light. Pile number one's inner light. I'm hearing Sarah in the labyrinth when she says, you have no power over me. I feel like when you guys get intrusive thoughts and you get people trying to attack your light, because I feel like people try and attack because they don't understand, or maybe they don't like that you access this ability to see beyond. I feel like you're someone that's gone through a lot of pain and a lot of heartache in your life, but you still choose the high road, you still choose light because it's naturally within you. That I feel like that's the first thing people try to attack. So people might try and take you out of your power, and sometimes people don't hit the nail on the head. People may try and attack maybe, you know, your confidence, maybe sometimes your looks, because I'm hearing to say that, your abilities, the words you speak, your own inner confidence. People try and attack that because they're trying to find ways in. But I just see you like rising above that, and it's like I keep wanting to say, you have no power over me. I see beyond what you're doing. I see beyond what you're doing. I can see that you're just projecting onto me. I can see that when you're saying this to me, it's because you want me to believe that because you feel that about yourself. And I'm not going to let these words take me out. You know what I mean? I see beyond that. You want me, after everything I've been through, to stay miserable, to stay down, to act like the people that hurt me. It's not going to happen because I have this light guiding me. You know what I mean? I know why I'm here. You can't take that away from me. And I see you guys rising above that and seeing that, because I feel like you guys either are quite attractive, and it's like physically attractive, but also you have this really strong aura that's so like, it's like a light, it's like moths to a flame. You're like, you attract people naturally, that I feel like people try and put that out then, try and make you second guess your attractiveness, try and make you second guess your confidence, the words you're speaking. You're wrong, and try and make you believe what you're not. Like, I feel like people may try and project what you are not onto you, like you're a liar, you're this, you're that, to try and make you believe that and be that. And I feel like people try to do that so that you try then I feel like people have trouble snuffing your light out, so they try and turn you against your own light to snuff your own light out, to not feel confident in your own words, and not feel confident in your mission, and not feel confident in your gifts. I feel like that's what people try to do. I feel like back in the day, people tried to get at you. You still had light. If anything, it made you shine even brighter. And it was like, right, so we're going to try and turn them against themselves then. And I feel like you've dealt with that. Maybe you've dealt with maybe some narcissistic abuse and things like that, where people have tried to turn you against yourself. But I feel like even then, your intuition is still guiding you. Even with these maybe negative thoughts towards yourself, or fears, or lacks of confidence, you would have that and understand and accept it as a human. But then on a higher level, it was like, I know I'm dealing with this and I'm gonna have to alchemize it at one point. However, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I know my mission. I know my light. I know where I've got to stay. I know this. So, you know, I know it's there. But at the same time, there's a duality of emotions of, yes, I'm fearing. Yes, I doubt myself. But I also, at the same time, I connected to my wisdom, my Akashic records, my intuition, to a point where I can see beyond all of this. I can see beyond all of this. I'm aware it's in my energy field and I alchemize it, but I can see beyond it. Because you've always had this deep connection to the higher realms and known, you've always had an essence of, I know who I am on a soul level, even when I'm dealing with darker and heavier emotions as a human. Like, you've always had that connection to the divine. It's really interesting to see. And it's interesting how people were like, we can't snuff out the light. Let's try and make them snuff out their own light. You know what I mean? But what people fail to realize about you is, like I was seeing the fire in the Alchemist. When you lose yourself as an alchemist, you come back 10 times stronger. You know what I mean? When you lose your artistic flair as an alchemist, you come back as Picasso. You know, you come back as Picasso. When you lose your connection to spirit, or you feel like you've lost your connection to spirit, you come back as like this high priestess, because you alchemize it into something greater, and you now know how to never lose that again. You know people's way in, and you know to snuff that out and stop that from happening. So what people don't realize is, the more they target you, the more you're going to just rise up, you know, and the darker you go, the lighter you're going to shine then. The more further you go and lose yourself, the more you're going to come back and be brighter, coming back kicking. And that's what I'm hearing about you guys, because you're someone that, even when you're confused in your logical brain, you're never lost. Even when you feel the most lost, you're never lost, because you have this deep intuition and connection to spirit. Let's lay some cards, because I have not laid any cards. Pile number 1. Spirit's like, okay, here you go. Of course we have the Hierophant. I feel like you're a channeler for spirit, to be honest with you. I feel like that's how your energy is coming through. You're a channeler for spirit. Pile number, I'm going to do 3 actually, because I really don't need cards much for you guys. I feel like your energy is coming through like, this is what I have to say. Spirit may speak through you, through your throat chakra. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1's inner light. Okay. 10 of Cups. Knight of Wands. Okay. Back of the deck we have the 6 of Cups. I feel like you're someone as well that your past, the wisdom that you've gained from your past life, guides you in this lifetime. Again, it's like this logical brain of, I have no idea why I'm doing this. I have no idea why I'm drawn to this herb. I have no idea why I'm drawn to this crystal. I have no idea why I'm drawn to this practice. But on a soul level, it's like, yes, you do. You were one of the people that funded that 900 years ago in a different lifetime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you always have, like, I feel like you're doing stuff and it's like, why am I doing this? But you know why you're doing it. There's a lot of like spiritual gifts or maybe spiritual practices that are even talents, like art, drawing, and it's like first time you picked up a pencil, you know what I mean? And you're like a newbie and you just start drawing this art's really strong for you guys. I keep thinking of like Van Gogh, Picasso, people like that, but it's like the first time I've held this pencil and I start drawing and I just create something. Why? Your intuition led you and accessed those gifts. Like, oh yeah, 600 years ago, you were Van Gogh. Yeah, you were Van Gogh, or however you say his name. I always forget how to pronounce the last bit. You were Van Gogh. So let's access these, tap into them from your Akashic records. There we go. And then you're just drawing like you never... You know what I mean? Like you never stopped. And that was like 600 years ago. Everything you do has a meaning and a sacredness because you're guided by your intuition. That's your light. That's your light. And it's always readily available to you. 100%. And with this Knight of Wands here as well, it's like, because of that, I feel like you guys may have premonitions about worldly events because you're tapped into your Akashic records to the point that you are tapped into the Earth's Akashic records. So when events happen, you know, like when big things happen in the world, like tsunamis, natural disasters, even things that have happened, you know, like attacks on people and things like that in the world. I don't want to say any certain attacks just in case I trigger anyone. But, you know, when these things happen, it's like you may have had a premonition about it like a week before. Almost like, not Rumi, what was his name? I always forget his name. Wasn't Rumi. Who was the guy that made all of those premonitions? It wasn't Rumi. It wasn't Rumi. Who was it? I've forgotten his name, guys. You know when he had like Nostradamus, that's it. You know, like him, and he'd like write prophets down. I feel like you were one of those, and I feel like, say now, obviously in this earthly time it's a lot different now. We're on YouTube, we have technology, but say now you were you back in the day, you would have been like a Nostradamus type of person because you're able to tap into the Akashic records of trees, plants, the earth, the collectives, so you know when things are going to happen before they happen because you have these psychic predictions, because it's like, oh, I know that this is going to happen on one particular time period. And it could also happen in your dreams as well because you're super psychic. That's where your light's coming from. It's like, I'm always connected. There's like this string tying you to like the higher realms, and it's like you're always downloading information and connected to it. That's where your light's coming from. So when you make decisions, you may also sometimes be confused. Like maybe you're supposed to be hunting for a job, and you don't know why you have no urgency to, but it's because your soul knows a job's coming to you. You don't actually have to look for it. Or it's like you wanted to get a particular dog, but then the dog fell through and somebody ended up giving it to somebody else. But your intuition knew that there was going to be a rescue that you'd be able to go and get, and have that and bring it in. So you didn't feel much of a loss because your soul knew that there was something else coming for you. You never had to worry about love because your soul knew when you were going to have partnerships. So you knew to focus on other things until it came in. That's your light. It's your intuition, your strong connection to the higher realms. And you, because I feel like people do try to make out that like maybe words that you say and messages that you have to like pass on are like inaccurate, because again, I feel like people do try to talk you out of your light and shine in your light. But what I'm being told to say is you guys are super accurate in regards to connection with spirit. Like you guys are super accurate. You've in many lifetimes been a channeler. You've been a bridge from the higher realms to the physical world. You're always in connection to spirit. Always. And that's something I want to keep kind of reminding you, for when people try to act like you're not, you know. Pile number 1. Pile number 1's inner light. We have protection, medicine shield. I love this deck. I say it every time I use it. I'm like, oh my god, I love this deck so much, because I really do. I really love this deck. Let me move these icons. Actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll pop it down here. It makes more sense to have it down here. I'll put the icons back. The reason we have Medicine Shield is I feel like, again, your intuition's always protecting you. I feel like there's times where maybe you're wanting to enter a connection and it's like, you're having this resistance, or things aren't going the way it's supposed to, but it's because that person could have ended up draining your energy. That person could have not been right for you. That person could have taken you down maybe like a darker path, or taken you away from your light in ways, or created the illusion that you were away from your light. So you've always been protected in that way. Your intuition has always protected you as well, and being shown friendships where you've almost, this is where I feel like you've worked with energy, or been some sort of energy worker in a past life, a shaman or something, because you mask really well to protect yourself without realizing what you're doing, and it's a practice that you would have done in your past lives. So sometimes when we're tapping into darker energies, or we're tapping into something to find knowledge, sometimes we're going to mask ourselves. So we'll mask our energy so that we're not followed through the realms. When we're tapping into different realms, say now we're doing soul retrieval for somebody, we're going to mask our energy and shield our energy. And we can do that in the physical world. We can mask ourselves. So we could then maybe play dumb sometimes, or we could act like we're not aware of certain things happening, or we could portray something else. And sometimes it may look like we're pretending to be something else, but we're actually using a part of ourselves to shield us from people that may and try and take us out of our light. It reminds me, when I was younger, I fell across a quote, and it was a Nicki Minaj quote, and it said, when you don't make moves, when you don't climb up the ladder, everybody loves you because you're not competition. And that really stuck with me. And I used to be quite a target for people trying to bully me. So what I would do was, I would always be very friendly, and I would, in a way, protect myself by people pleasing in a way, but I would always play this more dumb, away with the fairies type of character. And I was a bit away with the fairies, but I played into it, so people never saw me as a threat. And when it was time for me to really stand in my power, that was when I let go of that shield. And I didn't realize till later that whole time I was masking myself to protect myself, because I was deeply insecure. People could have really done some damage, so I would really like mask myself a lot. And I feel like you guys have done that a lot. You've masked yourself because you understood how to do it as per past lives. You know, your Akashic records, it's like, right, I know how to protect myself here. I know how to move through this here. I know how to, you know, use my talents here. And you didn't even logically maybe understand what you were doing, but energetically you did. You know what I mean? Until it was time to pull that cloak off and be like, surprise. But I feel like you've done that. You know what I mean? You were able to alchemize and shift like that. Really, really interesting. But this has always protected you. Even from revealing too much about yourself. You've wanted to say something and then stopped. Not understood why you've stopped, but somebody was listening that would have really benefited from you saying that, and maybe taking you out of your energy, or copying you, or taking something from you. So you've stopped and you didn't know why, but it was your intuition like, stop. You know what I mean? Stop. Yeah, pile number 1. Pile number 1's inner light. We have... Hang on. We have Dreamweaver, accessibility. Okay. See, this is the thing about Dreamweaver, accessibility, and then you have all of the realms. I feel like you're able to move and access different realms even in this lifetime. I feel like you're aware when collectively timelines are shifting. I feel like you're aware when your own timelines are shifting. I feel like you're able to tap onto different timelines because you're connected to your Akashic records. So it's like, okay, I'm going to hop onto this timeline. I'm going to hop onto this timeline. I'm going to divert from this. I'm going to alchemize now and learn that lesson now energetically. And it's like you're able to access your own map sometimes, like a book. And even though I see palmistry for you guys, I don't know if you know learn palmistry now, but I feel like you have done in past lives. I don't know whether it's palmistry, I don't know whether it's, you know, it could even just be tarot reading and things like that, but I just feel like you have such a strong access to your Akashic records to the point you can read it like a book. It's really interesting. You could be just really good at astrology and be able to access it that way as means of like divination and things like that. However, I just feel like energetically you can too. You're able to tap into it like a book and know where you're headed, and always know that like, oh, I'm okay, I know what to do. It's really interesting, your energy you're able to weave, because I've been on a healing course for a little while now, and we go through different realms. We tap into the animal realms, and you know, we go up through different realms, and there's a realm connected just to animals, and we tap into that, and it's such a beautiful place, and this realm's reminding me of that, which is making me feel like you've done that in past lives. It's really, really interesting the way that you can weave through them and see energy like that. It's really, really interesting, because when you're connected to your light, that's your intuition. And again, we have stone people knowing. Again, with the stones, I'm thinking of you guys tapping into the Akashic records of rocks, the earth, being able to see the history just by energetically tapping into it. But also the knowing, it's like, again, it's a psychic premonition of I know where I'm headed, I know what's about to happen, and you feel it strongly. Really interesting. I feel like you guys are super, super powerful, and I think it's really reminding you guys of that, you know? So I'm going to pull these cards. They just have little sayings on them, and it's more so for you guys to just like have a little bit of guidance moving on from this reading. Whether you're heading on to part 2 or whether you've already watched part 2 and you're just reflecting on the reading, I just want to pull these as a bit of guidance for you guys. So let's see as we end the reading. Pile number 1. Pile number 1's Inner Light, please, Spirit Guides. Oh, 2 of them came out for you guys. So the first one is, we believe that the power behind us is greater than the task ahead. So that's your first. And I'm not going to actually like channel and energy read these, because I want you guys to see the message and then just create what you need to take from it. That's what I'm doing with these cards. So I'm going to leave that like that. And then the second one is, if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavours to lead a life which they have imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. So I'm going to push it up to the screen if you need to screenshot. And that's your second message. Interesting. Okay. So pile number 1, that is what I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading and you got what you needed from it. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if this resonated for you. To watch part 2, I will have a link in the description, so you guys can head over to Chemistry with Ms. Met Tarot and see part 2. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at your inner light, reminding you of your inner light and shining light on your inner light. So you guys chose the honey calcite. I placed that up in the corner. It blends very beautiful with the decor. I can't say decor in a normal Welsh accent. I've got to go decor. I don't even know what accent that is. Decor. I don't know, but I say it like that for some reason. Even when I go into shops, I say it like that. People look at me funny, but there we go. Right, let's get into your reading. So to start your reading, guys, I'm going to use the Animal Spirit deck, which is basically me tapping in. You have a lovely energy, by the way. I feel very at home in your energy. I'm going to be using the Animal Spirit deck, and I'm going to be using that deck for it to show me you guys' light in its like truest form, so your deepest energy basically. So that's what I'm going to be starting with, and then I'll be pulling tarot for some guidance and more oracle cards for your guidance as well. So let's get in. I found with this reading that I'm channeling and speaking more than I am pulling cards, because the energy just wants to filter itself through, which is fine. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I probably won't pull as many cards as usual. Let's go. So pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 2 is Inner Light. Pile number 2 is Inner Light. I don't know if you just feel good today. I'm tapping into someone that feels good and has a lot of energy today, or it's just your energy I'm just feeling that way from. You just have a very warm, welcoming presence. Familiar too. It feels familiar. It's like, oh, you're part of my tribe. I don't know if I've ever spoken to a lot of you. But yeah, that's whether it's emails, DMs, whatever the case. I just feel like this feeling, the energy feels familiar. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 2 is Inner Light. I'm I'm being shown snakes, like snake symbolism. We have the peacock. I don't know if snakes are very like strongly connected to you guys, but I just keep being shown snakes. So let me pop the card down. So pile number 2, the reason that you guys have the peacock card is the energy surrounding this card is obviously the peacock shines out. It's got this beautiful bright energy, which is literally what I'm tapping into when I tap into you guys. You have such a warm, welcoming energy that a lot of people, sometimes people can mask their inner light. I don't even think you could if you tried. It's your aura. It's the way you shine. You just have this very bright energy. I probably told you in readings where I do like, you know, what do people find attractive about you and things like that. I probably reference your heart, your aura, and the light that you shine out, because tapping into your energy was like I recognized it straight away, and I felt safe in it very straight away. I felt like I could be silly and not be judged. A lot of the time, you know, when we're on social media, sometimes we may mask ourselves a little bit in fear of being judged. I instantly tapping into your energy welcomed and opened up to you guys straight away and didn't mind being silly and saying things, because I just felt like you were a friend. And your light, I want to say, before we even get into the reading, it just goes beyond anything. You just have this beautiful genuinity that shines through. And I feel like a lot of people, and I want to say this, a lot of people do, what's the word? A lot of people do, gain a lot from your own light just by you just being around. I feel like you comfort people. I feel like it's like earth angel, but it's like I'm just a warm fire of warmth. It's like you're connected to your inner divine feminine, and connected to your own mother energy, your inner divine mother energy, and it's very potent, and I think that's where your light resides. And it's one of those things that you don't even have to mask or hide, because it's not only regenerates itself, but I just feel like it's one of those things that's just like ever growing. You know, when you touch something and then it duplicates and then it duplicates again. I don't think there's anything in this world that can do that, but I know what happens in Harry Potter. Your energy is like that, to the point that somebody could you could light somebody up and make them feel confident. That confidence then lasts to the point that they'll go away and they're far away from you now, but your confidence is like lingering within them. They've benefited from it, and then they make other people feel confident, and then it just shines through. So everyone you're touching and tapping into, it has this rippling and domino effect. And it's your light in general, but I just feel like words you say, the way you lift people up, the way you're loyal to people, the way that you shine, the way that you choose to be confident in yourself, that's your inner light. That's what's within. And when we look at the peacock as well, when I was, you know, reading the message of the card in the booklet and stuff, it talks about having this inner understanding of its own light. And even though it's a beauty, it's feathers, it's a beauty, it still has that knowing that it's beautiful. It doesn't need anyone else to tell it that, you know what I mean? It comes from within. Your beauty shines out from within. So it's like, I feel like whether you're on a mission in this lifetime to realize your own light, realize your power and bask in it and not let anybody tell you about yourself, or whether you just came down knowing who you are and knowing the weight of your energy, either way, I just feel like you came in with your heart on like 100% power from the beginning to be able to be a light for people in the dark, be a helping hand to people, be a messenger to people for spirit when they need that, be a comforter to people. Like, that's your light. And I keep wanting to tell you it doesn't go out. You know that song, There Is a Light, and it doesn't go out. I'm hearing that because it's just like this just fire within, this warmth within. And it's different to pile number 1, because pile number 1 was like Alchemist, I'm gonna create fire with my hands and alchemize everything that I see. Yours is like, I'm shining my heart out everywhere I go, and I'm just gonna keep shining. And of course that light can shine light on other people's, you know, wounds, and then people may try and cast shade on you, but I just feel like no matter how many times they do it, that light's still there. Even when you don't see your light, you're still shining it out. It's really interesting. So similar to Power 1, you could have had people that try to turn you against yourself, where people tried to put out your own light, but then it didn't work, so then they tried to like psychologically turn you against yourself. Same message from Power 1. And I feel like you guys have been on a journey to really see your light and understand the weight of your light, because you guys are super humble. And I feel like you'll always be that way because you work from the heart. Your light's coming from your heart. Your light's coming from your empathy. Your light's coming from your nurturing. Your light's coming from your inner divine mother. You came here to nurture people. You came here to protect people. You came here to love. You came here to seed love. And that love and light is also available to you whenever you need it. That beauty that you shine out is always available to you whenever you need it. And I feel like you may be on a mission to really seeing that within yourself, to really looking in the mirror and being like, wow, that's a part of me. Because sometimes you guys don't see how much other people benefit from your light, to the point that maybe you feel like you haven't done enough, you give even more, and then you become drained. That can happen sometimes, and then you really might not be able to see your own light, but it's there. And right now Spirit's almost like turning you around, like almost splitting you into two. Not that you're like disconnected from your own self, but Spirit's like right now, and they've been showing me a process where they've been mirroring your energy back to yourself so that you can really see how much love you give and how much you give out and how much impact you have on people. And you may be like, well, I don't have a following, I don't have social media, I don't see a lot of people in my everyday, how am I helping? That's just like somebody on the bus, you know what I mean? You offering a helping hand. I see you guys being people, in a store, you haven't even said anything, and then people just come and tell you their issues or start talking to you because they feel comfortable around you because of this welcoming, warm energy. And that can go a long way. Just a little word that you say, I feel like sometimes you'll say something, and it could even be something as little as like a humorous word. Someone's thinking about that for the rest of the day and laughing to themselves, and it's offered a bit of relief in there every day. And you're just like, oh, I said that, I completely forgot that I said it. But someone remembered that. May even use it in another situation to, raise the humor there. Your energy has this rippling effect. Your light can't dim because your light has already impacted so many people in your everyday that your light's out in places of the world that like you haven't even been yet, You could have like lifted up somebody who went to see their auntie. That light shone onto their auntie because they were given the same information that you gave them to their auntie, and then their auntie's flying all the way over to the other side of the world, passes on that information that's valuable to their child, and their child is benefiting from this guidance that you gave. You know what I mean? And you haven't even stepped foot in that country yet. And I'm being told that's how potent you are, For me to even open up to your energy and just be like, oh, I like this energy. I really love this energy. When I was reading the passage, I was like, this makes sense. I can really feel that, because it's like, wow, you just feel like it's like, how do I explain it? You lift up people. You raise people's vibration. You remind people of their light. That's what you do. You uplift people. You give people compliments. You also help people. So they've been like a victim of maybe some sort of abuse or narcissistic abuse, or they've had people put them down, or they've been bullied. It's like you also help people see the truth. It's like, oh, well, that person's only projecting onto you. Did you know that? That person's projecting onto you. That's not how you feel. And you clear the way to their own light too. It's almost like people's pathway. It's like, let's move this like bush out the way of insecurities, because these insecurities that you're feeling, this is how we can alchemize them. And that person said this to you because of that. You don't need to worry about that. And you help people see clearer. You illuminate people's pathway for them. That's what you guys do. Really, really strong energy. And it's very similar to pile number 1, because this energy is so potent. No matter where you go, it shines. You could be in a really dismal situation, but it's still there and it's still shining. Let's pull some more cards. And it's funny that I'm talking about you just being like the sun energy, this brightness. You cast light on people, and you chose the honey calcite, which connects to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is connected to Leo energy, the sun, and the element for the solar plexus is fire. So it's like you just have this fire within you, and it doesn't burn. It's like this fearless heart, this brave heart. It's there, and it's always there. Just your heart just guides you. Your light is in your heart. Really interesting. So pile number 2. Pile number 2. Oh. Oh, wow. Guys, look at the card that just fell out for you guys. You're super connected to your inner child. I'm super connected to just, you just have this, it's like this fire. It's like I said in one of my picker cards the other day, for you it would be a couple of weeks ago, like Daenerys from Game of Thrones. It's like this fire energy. It's like, you know, it's like you just have this burning, passionate way of looking at life, and I feel like you have passion for other people. You love to uplift people. It's just in your nature to do it, you know. You're not one of those people that will just tear people down for the sake of it. You're not one of those people that will make somebody insecure. It's like you're always looking for ways to uplift people. You know what I mean? Always for looking for ways to uplift people. And the reason Spirit's having you, like, they're showing me your energy then splitting into two, but not because you split into two, but to mask it back and mirror it back. You're going through this alchemization process to mirror it back so you can benefit from your own light. So when these negative self-talks come in, you have that passion back for yourself, to give yourself that confidence back and that light back for you. That's the kind of walk that you're on right now, and the journey you've been on is really seeing your light and the weight, because sometimes it's hard to see it, because I feel like people have tried to have you not see it. And that's the journey that you're on, is really seeing the weight of your words and your energy and your warmth. You really uplift people. People may say to you, I don't know why I'm just drawn to you. I don't know why I just like being around you. I don't know why, but like when I'm around you, I get more done. When I'm around you, I feel more confident. When I'm around you, my confidence goes alarmingly high, because you just literally elevate people to your own energy, you know, all the time. You're just somebody that does that. And I feel like you've had to be careful and learn boundaries, because people have almost wanted to take as much as they could, running away with their hands full, you know what I mean, and not supplying you back. And I think that's maybe why you've been folded over, to really see your light back, to see how sacred you are, that you can't be super accessible to every single person all the time, because you need to make sure you're full up first, because there's just this light all the time. And I feel like people are drawn to it, to the point that sometimes you've had a hard time differentiating between people that need you and people that want you and want you for your light. It's like one of those things. It's like you may draw in a lot of broken birds, so then it's hard for you to see the light in the everyday world, because the people that you may have been drawing in were people that were going through a lot, and then it was like, well, where's the light then? Where's the light? But the light was coming from within, you know. And there are other people like you with this bright light too, but I feel like you've had to differentiate who may be people coming to you for your healing advice and your confidence, whatever you do in your career, motivational speaking, counseling, art, anything like that, and then people who just want to be in your life because they mirror your own internal energy and want to add to you. I think that you've been on a path of learning the difference, because it's almost like you were working from a young age. It's almost like I've been working since I was 5. I just didn't realize it. I've been healing people since I was 5. I didn't know. I was like 7 years old counseling somebody, and I just didn't realize it at the time, you know. It's like you've always almost been working, that you haven't been able to differentiate maybe sometimes clients, even though it might not have been work for you at that age, to people that are in your everyday life and wanting to just spend time with you for you. You know what I mean? You had to really learn the difference there. Pile number 2. You're very unforgettable too. I want to say that, because it's your energy that can't be like copied, that you kind of stand out, like people remember you in that way. And I know I've probably said this to you before, because you seem like such a familiar energy that I've spoken to you in other readings before, but I've probably said to you that, you know, when celebrities have that look and no one can mimic it because it's just them, like Rihanna has this confidence that she can wear anything because it's Rihanna, because she has this bold confidence, and there's like an energy that's just filtered to one person, that it's not the outfit making them look good, it's them, the way they carry it, that aura. You have that. You know what I mean? You have that in anything. It's just your energy. But you've been learning to see yourself like that. We have death. One more card. I love how we've got major arcana as well. Very potent energy you guys have, and I felt it the minute that I tapped in. It was like boom. You know when you go on holiday to a hot country and then you like get off the plane and the heat just hits you? That's how I felt tapping into your energy. But it was like this warm home feeling of the heart. You know, it feels like I do an exercise where I send all of my light energy back into me to pour in, and the universe helps me, because with this work you can get tired, and you work with your heart, don't you? So you need to pour it back into you. And when I do it, I have this beautiful it feels like my heart chakra's expanding, and then this warmth comes back into my heart, and it feels like home. Minute I tapped into you, I felt it. So for me, you're a light worker. You're here to love. You're here to remind people of that love. You're here to touch people's hearts. You're here to ignite people's fires. And I love that for you guys, and I can feel it. But you've also got to remember, you've got to pull that back into you. Make sure that you're getting readings sometimes, and make sure that you're getting counseling sometimes, or you're looking at art instead of the one creating the art, or you're getting motivated sometimes instead of you always being the motivator. Make sure you're taking care of you sometimes too, you know, because I just feel like Spirit's really adamant in you getting your beautiful energy back. Because you deserve to have that energy back. Sometimes you don't even realize it though. I feel like sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm just giving this energy out, and you don't realize how sacred your energy is when you're giving it out. We have the 10 of Wands, and we have 4 cards for you guys because another one popped out, so we're gonna do the 4. Justice. Look at the major arcana here. Love that. It's because your energy is so important. You know, when you just like have like a really strong spice or a herb in a dish, and all the other herbs, it's like you can't even taste them because it's just that one herb that you're tasting that you can't sort of get out of your taste buds because it's just potent. Your energy's like that. That's how it feels. I feel like people have a hard time forgetting you, or getting over you in a way, because of the energy. It's like you're everywhere. You know, it feels like that. If you're feeling disconnected from your light at the moment, because we have the 10 of Swords at the back of the deck, and we have the 10 of Wands here, and the Justice card with death, it's like that alchemization. It's like your heart leads the way. You want to make sure you're filling that tank up with your own self-love. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can do so much, it can be so much help just sitting there, having maybe like heart chakra singing bowls or something like that, because it's your heart chakra it's coming from, and asking your spirit guides, can you pour the energy I give out back into me? Can you pour the light that I give out back into me? Can you help me receive this love back to energize me? And just sitting there in the state of receiving, and imagine that flowing back into your heart chakra for about 10 minutes. Could be half an hour if you want, could even be an hour. You could do it while you're sleeping if you want. Ask spirit to restore those energies, because your spirit guides work with you. They're going to help you do that. And for me, that's been such a game changer, opening my energy back to receiving, because I give out a lot. It's like, it's such a game changer when you ask the universe and you ask your spirit guides, can I have that back? Because sometimes it doesn't even come back in the form of energy. Sometimes you'll get like a windfall of money. I do that. I'll ask spirit for my energy back in ways, and I'll get, you know, money come to me, or I'll get people giving me gifts, and I'm like, oh, okay. So the universe even does it physically sometimes, in physical things. And I feel like sometimes you forget to ask back because you're such a beautiful energy. You just think of other people and giving. You forget to give back. And that's what Spirit's asking you to do, to remember your own inner light. Remember to ask for it back. Remember to ask your spirit guides at the end of the day at night time for that time back, that energy back. You know what I mean? In any way that Spirit and the universe see fit that would help you. Because sometimes you guys can feel a bit burnt out, where you feel like you've lost your light, and you have not lost your light. You've just been giving, and you've been maybe dealing with a lot of darkness, a lot of, you know, helping people's pains and all of that. And it's like you haven't had the favor returned, and that's why Spirit's asking you to be in that state of receiving, to receive it back so you can become more balanced. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes as well, because you work from the heart, you alchemize for other people. So you take on pain and transmute for other people. So sometimes your heart chakra, and I'm actually being told quite often, your heart chakra goes through a reboot where you can't feel your heart. It usually comes after a period of grieving and releasing where everything feels cold. And it's not that you've lost your light, it's that your heart's dissolving to be replenished and to be rewired. It's being rebooted. You're being turned off to be turned back on. So in them periods, I'm being told that sometimes you struggle and you feel like you've lost your light, and that's not the case. You're just being rewired after a very big healing session. And you guys are always taking on energies anyway. So sometimes you're healing something that isn't even yours. You're like, hang on a minute, I didn't even think I was healing anything. But you might have been purging and releasing something from somebody else that you took on. And that's where you know, that alchemization happens. So it could be in your own work of like counseling, therapy, helping people, motivating people, tarot reading, Reiki healing, you know, anything like that, any sort of energy work. I feel like you guys take on a lot, and I'm being told to make you aware of it, so you know, to make sure that replenishing needs to be number one for you guys, you know. So let's pull some guidance cards. Let me pop these a little bit lower so we can fit the cards in. Feel like a hot summer's day. Do you know what you also feel like? You know when you go to like a grandparent's house and they have like really good cooking, or it could be like an auntie or something like that, and they just make like a homemade meal and it's just perfect and it's just what you need, and it almost feels healing. Your energy feels like that. Home cooking, you know? It feels like, oh, I feel replenished. I feel comforted. I feel warm. That's how your energy feels to me. Also like a hot summer's day. You know, you could take whichever one resonates for you. But that's how your energy feels. And I keep wanting to hype you up because I think that's as well spirit in the universe, like hype them up, give back to them, because it's like you give out so much. It's like I just, you know, and you may be like, why is this lady on the internet just keep giving me all these compliments? Why are they doing, you know, why? But it's like I just want to keep doing it because it's the universe's way of pouring back into you. I feel like I want to pour all that energy back into you. Keep being shown your heart chakra, but it's funny because the heart chakra comes through green, sometimes pink for the higher heart chakra, and it's just this golden energy, this higher vibrational energy pouring back into your heart chakra, because I feel like spirit may even use certain tarot videos and stuff to pour back into you. Yeah, that's what I feel. Or movies as well. You may be like, why am I watching this movie? But it's pouring back into you, you don't realise it. And music as well, I'm being told. And art. Your card just fell. What have we got? We have insects. Support. Sorry guys, I'm banging the camera. Yeah, we have insect support. I feel like you guys, I feel like animals, insects, nature really respond to you because of this energy. Because the thing is about these energies, I put the card in the wrong place. The thing is about these energies is that insects and animals and nature, they don't think with a logic human brain. So they just respond to energy. Even babies, a lot of the time, they'll respond to an energy rather than the logical ego. So they're just going to reside to the warmth. They're going to reside, you know, they're going to be connected to the warmth, the energy that's more potent to them, which would be your energy shining out. You know what I mean? So you may even, some of you guys may not even like insects, but they're drawn to you. But I'm being told animals being super drawn to you, nature being super drawn to you. It's like, it responds to you. Animals respond to you. They feel nurtured by you too, because they just see energy. They don't have all this humanly misunderstanding and miscommunication. It's like, you know, they just go to who they feel energetically safe with and who makes them feel good. And I feel like that's you, you know. So that's something that's coming through here. And I feel like they also work as messengers for you. So I would say pay attention to any insects you see, animals, anything. I feel like they always have a message for you if you're wanting to listen to that and see what comes through, because I feel like they do. So pile number 2. Pile number 2 is inner light, please, spirit guides. Oh, pile number 2 is inner light, please, spirit guides. We have shaman, completion. Let me pop this down here a minute. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Completion. Interesting. Look at the healing symbols here. You guys are on a journey for sure. Completion. Why does it say completion, spirit guides? I feel like you may be hard on yourself to the point that you're like, I've got to do this, 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 and that for my soul mission. I've got to do this, 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 and that. I've got to keep giving. I'm not where I need to be yet. But you're looking at it from like the human logical perspective. And yes, okay, have goals, of course, and have places you want to reach. But spirit's like, from young, you were already doing what you came here to do. You don't have to prove yourself through work, how many people you can give to, numbers, money. You have nothing to prove. From the minute you took your first breath on earth, you were doing what you came to do. You already completed your tasks the moment you stepped here. It's not a case in this lifetime of a to-do list and you taking it all off. It's just you being you and shining your light out. The sun doesn't wake up every day and go, right, I've got to light the plants, I've got to, give light to the plants, I've got to give everyone their vitamin D, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. The sun doesn't do that. The sun just shines. He's just here to shine. And I know you may have goals and things, and of course it's great to have that and tap into that. Remember, however, that money, numbers, all of this, it doesn't determine your worth. You're already doing what you came here to do. You're already doing it. And that's a strong message from Spirit for me to pass on for you guys. That's why we have completion here, because it's like, I have to do this, 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 and that. And Spirit's like, you're already doing it. You're already doing what you came here to do just by breathing. Remember that. You have nothing to prove. Wow. Okay. And it's funny that, the card that flipped over and I popped it back, that card was South Abundance with the sun in the background. So I just feel like the more you tap into that light and you see that you're worthy of all and that you don't have to prove yourself like that, I feel like that's when the abundance falls on you, because it's just like you're able to like receive it and receive that light and know how abundant you are. And it's just like you're on a journey of being folded over so you can really see your own light, to have it reflect in your everyday and have it poured back into you. The back of the deck we have altar, honoring. This message is more so for you guys to honor your own sacred being and realize how sacred your energy is. That's more of the message for that card. So what I'm going to be doing now is pulling 2 cards here. I'm not going to be channeling them though. I'm just going to pass on the quote that comes through. I'm going to pull 2 of them, and then I'm going to have it on screen if you want to screenshot it, and you guys can connect to that little message, that little quote, in any way that you see fit. I'm not going to explain it. You're just going to look at it and then take what you need from it. So that's what these 2 cards are for. So what guidance do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? Pile number 2's inner light. What do my pile number 2s need to hear? What do my pile number 2s need to hear? Oh, so the first one is, to the man who himself strives earnestly, God also lends a helping hand. So that's your first message. Let's pull your second one before we end the reading. Pile number 2. Pile number 2's inner light. Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. We then have, nothing succeeds like success. That is the second one. So pile number 2, that is what I have for you. I really hope you got what you needed from this reading, and I really hope it resonated. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at your inner light. So I'm going to be shining a light on your inner light, your light within. So you guys chose the rose quartz. I'm going to start with the animal spirit guide deck. Guide deck, that's it. Yeah, guide deck. And the card that I pull is going to be a representation of your inner light, and then we're going to work around that with tarot and oracle cards for some guidance as well. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. I don't know why, and you can just let this flow away if it doesn't resonate, but I'm tasting like icing, like sweet treats, like candy, but like it's also like icing, like icing on a cake, like frosting and cupcakes. I'm tasting that. So I don't know if some of you guys are eating something like that, but that was just something that came through. It could be like a sweet drink as well, like marshmallows or something, I don't know. It's just something that came through as I was tapping into you guys' collective. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. Pile number 3's inner light. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have the Phoenix. I mean, it's very self-explanatory, the fact that you have the Phoenix. I think that it would be safe to say, similar to Power One in ways, that you guys are quite powerful alchemists. 100%. And I feel like you're somebody as well that it's like hard to put your finger on. Like, I feel like you're someone that's quite hard to describe. You may find if you watch like pick a cards where you're being described, people have a hard time describing you or putting a finger on you, and it's because you're very multifaceted. You have a lot of different sides to you, like an octagon. And I feel like as well you alchemize so much. I feel like you're somebody that's always transforming. It's reminding me of, again, Alice in Wonderland, when she's like, I can't go back to who I was yesterday, I was a different person then. There's a feeling of that coming through. But I think one thing that I will say that really remains very true about you and allows you to alchemize but yet not lose your essence is your very, very strong heart. Because you guys chose the rose quartz, which takes me to the heart chakra energy, and the pink of that energy as well, it takes me to the higher heart chakra. So I feel like you guys are very much led with your heart, very similar to pile number 2, except yours almost feels in a softer way, which is funny because Pile 2 was being led by the heart in a very fiery way. And it's funny that you guys have the Phoenix, because I'm being shown you guys alchemizing. Again, it's like this very big transformative energy. But yet, your soul comes through like angelic. It comes through so soft. It's almost like your ego, your personality, maybe your likes and dislikes are always evolving, transmuting, changing, shifting as you meet new parts of yourself. But what stays the same is this beautiful heart, and it's soft. It's sweet. It's like you know, like a gentle giant, like the elephant. And I'm shocked the elephant didn't come out for you guys as well, because like the elephant is one of the biggest like animals, but yet, and it can cause so much destruction, but it doesn't, because they have such a kind nature. It's like you guys are very powerful souls. I feel like you guys are very full of wisdom, and I feel like you guys have access to a lot of your Akashic records, have a lot of access to your inner world. You may have even been drawn to all 3 piles, because I feel like you would have resonated with all of them at different points. However, I just feel like with all of that wisdom, you choose to use it for the good. And I feel like, again, you're someone as well, when I say powerful alchemist, like I feel like maybe in this life you may find that you learn to be or naturally become very financially liberated once you've released certain, you know, karmas and ego traits, because I see you guys are always alchemizing. But it's funny, I feel like at the time that you then have the ability to maybe manifest in a lot of money or manifest in a lot of power, it's like, I'd rather be in the forest with the animals. Like, I really don't care for like that Louis Vuitton bag or whatever the case. Like, it comes through like that. I feel like you're aware as well of like your soul and your ego, and you're able to tap into your ego when you need it, but then you're able to go through an essence of an alchemization in your ego but still remain pure at heart. And you have this very strong ability of being able to be aware of your own thoughts, emotions, but not really get carried away. You know, like you see people sometimes and they have very strong opinions to the point that they forget that they're not the only people experiencing life. So they'll argue something, forgetting that 2 sides could be right. I feel like you're the type of person that could watch 2 people arguing, understand the person on the right, understand the person on the left, but you see it from a higher perspective. Like, you have that very, very wise essence to you. And I see as well you guys are very emotionally intelligent like that. I feel like you guys tend to not get triggered too much, and when you do get triggered, you more so become aware of it and allow yourself to process it instead of pointing fingers at other people. Really, really interesting how wise you are. I think your inner light stems from your wisdom. However, this higher heart chakra is kind of leading the way for you, and the fact that the higher heart chakra is coming through instead of just the heart chakra by itself, it's like you've reached like an evolution in that space where you're just very emotionally intelligent and you have a level of awareness. You almost have that very humanitarian nature. Like, you may have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, like your inner planets. I feel like you may have a lot of Aquarius there, because you're able, even with like your everyday friendships and relationships, it's like you're able to like even grieve, forgive, move on, but still have love without needing to hate or be fully angry. Like, you can process that anger but not project it onto somebody. You're really, really wise like that, because I feel like you're here for the good of your heart rather than maybe power. I feel like you would have incarnated for the good of your own heart and other people. You feel like the definition of what like a light worker would be in that sense. But it's funny, I feel like you're a light worker, but it's more so like a wanderer. I feel like with this Phoenix card, yes, you are a warrior, but I feel like there's so many chapters to you that like so many things that I could say about you would reign true because of how multidimensional you feel. You could have at one phase in your life being this lone warrior in the dark, but then in another phase of your life you could have been very soft and very connected to your inner divine feminine, and then another phase of your life you could have been capturing a lot of information and learning, and then another phase of your life it's like, I'm just observing right now. So there's so many different facets to you, but I feel like the phase that you're in right now is a bit of a wanderer, a bit of a nomad, seeing where life's about to take you, not really having much expectation, having the pen in your hand, but it's like you've been so many people in this one incarnation alone. Like the definition of Alice in Wonderland, going and meeting different people and learning about herself. It's like, you've not just been Alice, you've been the Cheshire Cat, you've been the Rabbit, you've been the Mad Hatter, you've been the Queen of Hearts, you've been the villain in the story too. Like you've seen every layer of yourself, and it's like that's why the Phoenix is coming through, because your ability to alchemize but yet stay true to yourself. It's just really interesting. It's really, really, really interesting, and I feel like I need to pull more now, because it's like I can't even put my finger on you in that way, because I just feel like you shift and change a lot. You may even be in a bit of a void stage right now as you alchemize again, but there's a lot to you. There's a lot to you. Even your soul, I feel like your soul would be like Pandora's box. Your soul would be like, what are them dolls called? And you open it up and there's another doll, and then you open that doll up and there's another doll, and you keep going until the doll's like this big and you get to the core of it. Can't remember the name, but that's how your soul's coming through. Like really, really wise old soul, which is why you look at things in a collective way, because I've found through my own channeling that souls, when they go up through the higher realms, soul tribes merge into one larger kind of like being energetically. They kind of mold into each other and they go up and up and up like that until they become source, which is everything. So it's almost like you kind of feel like you come from a realm where you've almost split. It's like a grand energy that split itself into multiple people to incarnate individually, but yet you still look at life in a collective way rather than an individual way, because you don't play in the 3D playground that often. I feel like you don't incarnate on Earth that often as an individual. There's this essence of you being some sort of guide like that, ascended master, and you're aware of it. There's like a feeling of awareness, because you look at things collectively. It's like this Aquarian collective way of looking at life. It's really, really interesting what I'm picking up. So pile number 3, let's keep going. Pile number 3 is inner light. We have the 5 of Cups reversed. I feel like every time you get lost, it leads you back to yourself. Every time you think you're lost, it's like, oh no, I remember. It's like you unlock a new layer. And I feel like you're going to get to a point, or maybe you're already at a point, where when you feel lost, when you feel like the pressure is mounting, you know that you're alchemizing like this Phoenix, and you're going to meet a new layer of yourself. And then it's like you play into that role and enjoy that role, and then you alchemize again. It's really interesting, your energy. Really, really interesting. I think it's safe to say your inner light, your power, is just you. It's just you. It's literally just shining from you. I don't even think, yes, okay, it's your heart, because I think your heart leads the way, but it's like, I think your heart's connected to your soul mission too, and connecting people back to each other, connecting people back to Mother Gaia, showing people that we're all part of each other. I think that may be part of your mission. However, when I say inner light, I feel like you kind of are the light in a way. I feel like it's you, it's your own wisdom, it's you. It's hard to explain, because you're like a mirror in a way as well, which I think that was pile 1 as well. Pile number 1 came through as a bit of a mirror, and when people got closer to them, they naturally saw themselves deeper, had to alchemize, and then they could get triggered sometimes. So you may get people that get triggered by you a lot. You feel like an empath in that way, like a strong empath that what's it called? Where people may get triggered when they haven't met themselves that deeply, if that makes sense. And I'm sure there's like an empath called a Hayoka empath. I'm sure of it. You guys may resonate with that. The only reason I'm saying it is that word came through, but I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or if it's exactly like that. I'm sure it was like Hayoki empath, Hayoka empath. Apologies if I'm saying it wrong. Pile number 3's inner light. 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Swords. You feel like that pile when I tap in when I'm doing readings, like telling you guys about yourself, like what do people like about you and things like that. And I always have this one pile that like is like, now you see me, now you don't. I'm here and then I'm not, and I show up when you need me and then I disappear, like the Dumbledore sort of energy. You feel like that pile to me, because I feel like you've almost incarnated in the sense of like you were a spirit guide, but you decided to incarnate to teach in the physical realm too. There's like a feeling of that coming through. You feel like a guide, and I feel like people do look up to you in a lot of way. And I think your wisdom is your light. I feel like you pass information through without realizing it sometimes. I feel like a lot of people do look up to you, and I think the more you turn inwards and the more you perfect yourself and the more you're good within, I feel like you shine even brighter. That's why I'm being told your inner light is coming from within, because it's like you look after yourself on a soul level, like mind, body, soul. I feel like it benefits everybody then, because you're able to pass on so much information. And I think that's why I'm being called to say you are your inner light, because I feel like spirit's almost calling you, putting a mirror in front of you to look within and be like, you focus on you, you pour into you, it benefits other people. Focus on you. There's like an energy of that coming through. Guys, I had an interruption then, but what I was gonna say was, it's almost like again, you came down to this incarnation with this higher awareness intact, but it's like you may have incarnated maybe with a family that had a lot of like karmic wounds, wasn't very conscious, maybe had time in your childhood. So it was like you saw a lot of people, because the back of the deck is the 3 of Swords, you saw a lot of people with broken hearts, so you had to incarnate naturally with this broken heart, or being aware that your heart would be broken in a way, because again, I'm being taken to the heart chakra. So it's like you may have seen a lot of tragedy around you, a lot of broken hearts around you, a lot of pain around you. So it was like you saw a lot of that around you, and it was like, I'm going to slowly throughout this life travel the realms. You may travel different realms. How do I explain this? I feel like in other incarnations, there's a lot of noise outside, I'm sorry guys. I feel like in a lot of incarnations, I feel like you have like traveled realms, energy worked, helped with like soul retrieval, removing lower energies and helping souls pass on. There's like a feeling of you guys being able to do that and linger through the realms, which I'm sure came up in pile number 1. So I feel like you almost incarnated, like, I know I'm going to be in a really low vibration down here, however I can dwindle in these realms. I've been there before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly bring my heart back together, and then throughout my life, the more my heart comes together, the more I'll be able to see deeper, the more I'll be able to light my heart up, and the more I'll be able to, you know, skip and jump to other realms, and that way I'll be alchemizing every time I jump up the realms. So there's like this feeling of you coming back to yourself, having a higher awareness and kind of raising your vibration. But the more you pour into you and the more you work on you, you're showing other people in those realms naturally how to do it and follow your light and make their way up the realms too. That's why there's such a focus in this lifetime of you focusing on you, focusing on your physical body, focusing on your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health, because your light, your inner light is you. And the more you pour into yourself and focus on you, and get yourself right, I feel like everybody benefits as well as you, and then that's part of your mission. It's really, really interesting. So you guys may have worked through and healed a lot of generational karma, transformed through a lot of pain in this lifetime, but brought it back to you. You may not have had a lot of confidence in childhood, but at one point of these phases with this phoenix, you brought it back to you. You alchemized it back. You rose up like this phoenix. You may have gone cold a little bit in regards to your heart chakra, felt like you lost your heart, but then brought it back to you as you were going through these realms. It's almost like I'm sweeping through each realm that I'm going through while I incarnate on earth, and I'm finding bits and pieces of myself through these realms as it's kind of like snakes and ladders as I climb up. And sometimes I may fall a little bit back down if I get triggered or hurt on the snake, but then I climb back up the ladder again, like I'm going to keep going. So there's this really weird way, the way that your soul almost like looks at life. It's almost like this game of like layers that you start at the bottom, and you start finding pieces of yourself and work your way up. Very much, again, like Alice in Wonderland, finding different people, finding parts of yourself as well in other people. I feel like connections for you are very strong in the sense that you may have had a lot of karmic connections in your earlier years, in your 20s, 30s, teens, even childhood, where you may have had friendships that maybe hurt you, or relationships that hurt you, or maybe mirrored your childhood to mirror back to you where you may have lost parts of yourself, so that you could kind of bring it back and mend this kind of heart, you know what I mean, to alchemize. So it's really interesting your reading like that. And I think that as well as those people kind of like helping you in the sense of like mirroring those parts, those cracks in your foundation to fill them back in, I feel like you almost help those souls when you alchemize, because it's like, oh, they're like 3 tiers up. Oh, that's really interesting, I want to get there. And you open up people's mind to another realm that they might not have seen by just you heading there, you know. So that's really, really interesting. I feel like you still act as a guide in this lifetime. I just find that really, really interesting. But you're always alchemizing as you climb these ladders, climb this next level. It's like you're jumping through levels and finding parts of yourself, and you shine even more the more you do it. And what's leading you is this heart, because you know you want to find all these pieces of yourself and kind of click them back together to become that best version of you. And then by doing that, you're teaching other people how to do it, because you're blazing a trail, leaving breadcrumbs that other people are doing it too. And then the whole collective is able then to, that is around you, they're then able to shine out. And then it's not just you anymore, because you focusing on you and shining your light out and being the best version of you, that candle hit other people's, like that flame lit other people's candles, and then they started doing it, and more started doing it, and then all of a sudden it's a whole collective of people doing it, like just by you focusing on you and evolving. And I'm hearing as well, you guys have a very strong empathy, because you guys have a very strong understanding. I feel like you even look at the collective on earth, like I'm hearing Jay-Z's song Family Feud, and he sings no one wins when the family feuds, or something like that. So it's almost like you look at the collective like, why are we fighting, why are we arguing, why are we causing hurt for each other, when we should all be loving each other and coming together in unison? Like that's what we're supposed to be doing. You are all a part of me, I am all a part of you. And again, seeing people in that more collective energy that souls would do in higher realms, it's like you have an access to that in the most humanly way possible. It's really interesting. Really, really interesting. You guys are really interesting to read for. Pile number 3. Pile number 3 is Inner Light. We have Dreamweaver, Accessibility. I'm sure this card came out for pile 1 when I was talking about like being able to tap into different realms, and it's coming out for you guys. You may have been drawn to pile number 1 because I just feel like, not just dream in regards to dream state and travel in the astral realms, I just feel like you're able to access a lot of different realms and work your way through, but still stay intact, which means that you would have really worked on that in other lifetimes, is what I'm, you know, kind of feeling for you guys, as like energy workers, you know. And again, with animals always have this sense of togetherness. They tend to move in like packs and collectives, and human beings have forgotten that togetherness. And it's not that we've forgotten, we intuitively are aware of it. That's why a bunch of souls follow trends. That's why a bunch of souls you know, have the same kind of like music taste, and people do try to find that togetherness. Again, even with like partnerships, a lot of people feel missing without somebody else because they understand the togetherness, but they sometimes patch it up in the wrong way, where they forget the lights within themselves first, which then ends a bit of a fall through, you know what I mean? But it's our own way, finding our way in this weird kind of matrix world of finding that togetherness in each other. And I just feel like you guys are very aware of your own inner light and your own inner connection before trying to look for it in other people. And I feel like you guys have that animal instinct of tribe, animal instinct of collectiveness, where you're able to collectively feel shifts and energies of souls, you know, like across the globe, like humanly. That's just something that you guys are able to do. When there's pain in a collective, you feel it. If there's been a natural disaster somewhere and a group of souls are mourning, it's like you can feel it even though you're not aware it's happening. Or there may be like a big, you know, something big that happens on earth and a lot of people are aware of it, you know, you guys are aware of it before it's even coming. Like you guys may have found before 2020. I have to be careful how I say it in the video, but you guys know what happened in 2020. You guys may have felt like anxiety leading up to when it all kind of went down, you know what I mean? And when everyone was kind of flustered and didn't know what was going on, I feel like you guys would have felt that collectively. It might have been a bit of a challenging time for you. It may have even led you to go through a big alchemization again. So it's like you guys are always collectively aware of things like that. It's really interesting. Pile number 3's inner light, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3's inner light. We have insect support. So again, it's like this collective energy of like beings even beyond Earth. You know what I mean? We're all in this together when it comes to Mother Gaia, the insects, the animals, the elements, nature, human beings, everything. We are literally all in this together. Even the beings that are in different realms but still on Earth, helping the collective energies, the Fae and things like that. We are all still interconnected and all in this together. And I just feel like you guys have this overwhelming feel of that naturally. And I feel like the more you climb up those realms and the more you see deeper within yourself, see deeper within the world, you're aware more deeply of how more intertwined we all are collectively, and because of that, then more people are able to benefit. Really interesting, really interesting. The back of the deck, we have prayer and hope. And when we think of like prayer and we think of like connecting to anything beyond ourselves, we always think of something greater than us. And there is something greater than us. It's the universe, it's spirit. You guys can call it God if you like, whatever you guys call it. But the creator, the God source, God, it is something bigger than us, but it's also a part of us because it created us. I always say it's like we are the leaves and the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is the seed. And I just feel like you guys are aware of something greater, and you guys are aware you're a part of something greater. And I feel like you're always aware of that. And I think that your heart, that the higher heart chakra energy, it's connected to that God source very strongly, that you're able to move about life and still travel in the lower realms, lose yourself, but still have that intent to find yourself again, to travel back up to that light, to that energy that's bigger than us. I feel like that's where your kind of like light comes from. So let me pull these cards. Now I won't be channeling these cards, I'm just passing them through as like a bit of guidance. So whatever guidance you guys may need to hear may come through in these. So I won't be reading into them, I'm just going to be showing you guys them, and you can kind of connect to them in a way that you feels right. So pile number 3, please. Any guidance for my pile number 3s right now, please, spirit guides. Any guidance for my pile number 3s. The first one is: we believe that the power behind us is greater than the task ahead. And the second card, your final card, is pile number 3s, inner light. Any guidance for my pile number 3s? Any guidance for my pile number 3s? One card, please, spirit guides. Any guidance for my pile number 3s? Oh, okay, we have... Okay, I wasn't going to post like this many, but I feel like they kept coming out and I kept putting them back, but they keep coming through. So I guess you guys are going to have 4, which I wasn't expecting. So the next card is: the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the little extra. I think the reason you guys have more coming through is because there's a lot of you watching, and a lot of you guys are going to be maybe in different phases of this Phoenix mode. So maybe different ones will connect to different ones of you. That's how I would describe it. So the next card is: do it, make it happen. No one ever sat their way to success. And the final card is: either I will find a way or I will make one. So whichever one of those resonates for you, take that as it resonates. So that's what I have for you guys, pile number 3. And I really hope this resonated, and I really hope you got what you needed from this reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below. Remember to check out Chemistry with Ms. Met's channel and watch part 2 to the reading. I'll have the link in the description box as well, where she will be lighting your paths. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it resonated. Sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.